Hey folks, welcome to the Whiskey Cove, bringing you wonderful people a new video in collaboration with Men's Journal. Let me start with a question for you folks. Have you ever stood in front of a whiskey shelf at a store and thought, what's the difference between bourbon, Scotch and rye? You're not alone, and I was definitely there too at one point. So in today's video, this is your beginner's survival guide. We're breaking down the 3 most common whiskey styles, explaining how they're made, how they taste, but most importantly, giving you folks a few bottle recommendations so you can shop smart and sip with confidence. Let's dive in. Bourbon, what is it? So bourbon is America's native spirit. By law, it has to be made in the US, not just in Kentucky, but anywhere in the US, and it has to be from at least 51% corn, aged in new charred American oak barrels and bottled at a minimum of 40% ABV or 80 proof. No additives allowed. That high corn content in the distillate gives bourbon its sweet, rich and approachable flavor. Think caramel, vanilla, brown sugar, oak and bacon spice, some of the fundamentals when it comes to bourbon. It's usually smooth and warm and quite familiar. Bourbon is almost the comfort food of the whiskey world. And some great beginner bottles, Elijah Craig Small Batch. It's easy to find, rich in flavor, and great value. Next, how about Wild Turkey 101? Higher proof there, or ABV, but very well balanced with sweet and spicy notes. And also maybe look for something like a Maker's Mark. Soft, wheated bourbon that's approachable, mellow, and smooth. Let me give you a little tip here, folks. You don't always need to spend $100 on a bottle. Start with something that's maybe under $40 and get to know what you like. Next up, let's talk Scotch. Scotch is whiskey made in Scotland, of course, right? Usually from 100% malted barley, if it's a single malt, or it can be a blend of grains and it has to be aged at least 3 years, but very oftenly it's longer than that. It can be smoky or not smoky, and depending on the region where it's made. There are 5 main Scotch regions. You have Highland, Lowland, Islay, Speyside and Campbelltown, each with their own characteristics. The biggest misconception about Scotch, that all Scotch tastes like campfire. That's just really not true. Some flavor ranges that you can actually get from Scotch, like the Highland and Speyside for example, there's lots of apple, honey, floral notes, sometimes sherry. Islay, yes, is peaty and smoky, medicinally and salty. Look, Scotch can be elegant and refined or rugged and bold. It's a choose your own adventure, if you like. Great beginner bottles that I like are Aberfeldy 12, honey and gentle, a great intro into Highland malts, or something like a Monkey Shoulder, a smooth blended malt that's very, very beginner friendly. Or how about Lagavulin 12 for the brave? Rich, yet legendary, not for the faint of heart. As a tip, start unpeated, then work your way up to Islay Sky Scotch if you want to explore smoke and peat. Lastly, what is rye whiskey? Rye whiskey, especially American rye, has to be made at least with 51% rye in the mash bill. And like bourbon, aged in new charred American oak barrels. Rye is known, unlike bourbon, for being more spicier because that 51% rye in the mash bill. And it's more energetic than bourbon too. It's the whiskey choice in classic cocktails like a Manhattan or Old Fashioned, for example. Some flavor notes that you might get from rye whiskey: pepper, cinnamon, maybe even some mint or eucalyptus, and some of that herbal spice there compared to bourbon's more sweeter and rounded notes. Rye is lively, assertive. Rye is the whiskey that really punches with a smile. And some rye bottles I like to recommend, folks. Old Forester Rye, great in a cocktail, all great neat, very well balanced. There's not really much heat there, but enough that if you do put it into a cocktail, you'll taste the rye. Another is Rittenhouse Rye. This whiskey is bottled in bond, meaning it has to be 50% ABV, 100 proof, distilled by one distiller over one distilling season. It has a classic profile, and bartenders really like this as a cocktail staple too. Lastly, how about Sazerac Rye? It's very mild, mellow and smooth. It's a great gateway rye if you're someone who likes bourbon but just wants to get a little more into rye. If you're a fan of spice over sweet, this rye might be right in your lane. So now you know the three major types of whiskey. How do you taste it? You don't really need fancy glassware or a 10-step process on how to enjoy whiskey. I'm going to give you a simple tasting approach. So first start just by simply looking at the whiskey in the glass. Maybe hold it up to the light. The color on it might give you some ideas about the age, if it's been finished or not, and maybe the ABV and proof there as well. And then after that, you maybe want to give it a little nose. Smell it gently with your mouth slightly open. And remember, this is whiskey, not wine. So don't go giving it one of those heavy swirling treatments. You'll just get a face full of ethanol. Take things easy and slowly. Roll it in the glass by all means, but you don't need to whip up all that ethanol there that can consume the glass and take over some of those flavors. Next, take a sip. Take a small sip. Roll it around on your tongue. And don't rush the finish, just let it sit there for a little bit and kind of settle in there. You maybe want to take another sip afterwards because the first sip was kind of like a palate reset. So then take the second sip and then take it easy. And also what you can do is maybe add a little drop of water to the glass. This can often bring out hidden flavors, especially in some of those higher proof whiskeys. So there you have it, folks. Whether you're team bourbon, Scotch curious, or ready to explore rye, this guide should give you a pretty solid place to start. Pick one bottle, pour a glass, and just enjoy the ride. If you've got a beginner-friendly bottle you really swear by, think about some reasons why you like it and go from there. If it's sweet, maybe you like more bourbons. If it's spicy, maybe you like ryes. And if it's smoky, if it's fruity, if it has apple, pear notes, maybe you prefer something like a Scotch. Until next time, folks, thanks for joining us. Go ahead, go on over to YouTube and you'll see more of this face and videos at the Whiskey Cove. Cheers.